Skeleton Crew, Season 1, Episode 5 Thoughts. You have a lot to learn about pirates. Thoughts? Let's see. Spoilers for everything Star Wars leading up to including this episode. It's another episode I love. And the episode is rated 12 plus, so will this video be? Let's dive right in. So, yeah. Obviously gotta talk about the big betrayal. I think I'll try to do this largely chronologically, though, because there are other things before that I really want to talk about. I was a little bit surprised that they were so quick to leave the planet from the episode before this one, but I do appreciate there's not much more for them to do there. They already had the big thing with, you know, the young woman saying, you know, maybe one day I'll be able to make peace when I get power, you know, and yeah, let's see, right, early in this episode, they do let Jod onto the bridge, rescinding the order from last episode, which did make me chuckle. No adults on the bridge. You know, normally it'd be no kids on the bridge. Yeah, and I do appreciate the episode acknowledging, yeah, there's no way that rope would hold down this massive droid, you know, but it was probably all they had, you know, and let's see, yeah, you know, as, you know, many of us had guessed, they reprogrammed 33 to not try to kill them when they ask about the map. And let's see, I think that pretty much gets us to, yeah, I like how, like, this big, you know, pirate hideout is now, like, Star Wars Vegas, Star Wars, and I guess we still haven't seen, when they said, you know, we keep the peace as long as you know, as long as you do too, and then later the pirates shoot the ships that are there to check. Do they have any kind of serious weaponry? Because, like, they could, you know, there is some security in some places like this. And yeah, I don't know if they slightly overplayed the thing about, you know, oh, they're still kids. You know, they played and goofed off a lot whenever Jod looked away in this episode. Like, you know, they should have let him talk when they, you know, once they're, like, you know, you have these other ships saying, you know, okay, so you have a reservation, right? Like, at that point, it's like, okay, let him handle this. This might not be. I appreciate that there's places you can make a reservation that allows kids, but just in case, you really don't want to risk, you know. And then, you know, he says, oh, they're elders, and then they're, like, playing as he's checking in. They're playing in the hotel room, not listening. Even Fern isn't listening to him, even though she's watching him like hawk a lot of the time. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like, yeah, I get it. Rule of threes. I think they only do it the 3 times. I think it was a little much for an episode that's, what, 30-some minutes, you know. And I gotta say, my least favorite aspect of this episode, by far, the inhibitor chip, I really did not. I get it. This is, you know, they're not trying to completely change what Star Wars is, and, you know, I'm not going to go too much into it because you know, fellow excellent leftist YouTuber, Pop Culture Detective, has a video. I want to say it's called The Tragedy of Droids in Star Wars, something like that. And, you know, much better YouTuber than I am. He lays it out brilliantly, but yeah, we're still seeing it, and especially the fact that they keep making a joke out of it. Like, I think there were 2 or 3 times where, you know, 33 was about to get violent, which is also, like, we haven't seen him get violent as just, like, suddenly he's this, you know, completely out of control, you know, like, I think at one point he's about to attack the person working at the hotel for saying, there's a legend about pirates here, and he's like, it's not a legend, and the inhibitor chip, like, I don't know, that just really left a bad taste in my mouth. And I think I do appreciate the fact that as soon as Jod is the captain, he removes the inhibitor chip. He could have done that before, but Fern might have used 33 against him, before he had a chance to challenge her. Once he does that, there's genuinely nothing 33 can do. He is programmed with pirate code, which is a neat little, because like normally pirates are human beings, but they follow the code. They've sworn to it, but he's programmed. Yeah, you get it. Let's see. I think that does pretty much bring. Yeah, also the joke about, oh, the elders don't speak basic, so he speaks gibberish to them. That also felt like you could have cut that. It didn't really go. I thought that they were going to use that as like, at some point, one of the kids was going to clearly understand what was said in basic, and that was going to cause some tension, but they didn't. I suppose it's possible it was left on the cutting room floor, maybe didn't play as well or something, but yeah, it just didn't. Yeah, it felt like just not really. It didn't really add anything, in my opinion. I think that does. Yeah, the I have a soft spot for bits where someone who's done some bad things, it catches up to them. So I liked, Jocket coming up, and yeah, he left her to die. 100% believe it. When she says that, it's not like, that doesn't sound like, like if, I don't know, let's see, if we heard that about Wim's dad, I might be like, that doesn't really sound like him, but yeah, and yeah, she immediately tattles on him. And let's see. Yeah, I think that does. Before I talk to, I just realized obviously I have to talk about, Parent Heist. That was legitimately quite fun. Yeah. I'm afraid I forget her name, but I believe mother of Neil, walks up. Have I been watching too much David Cronenberg, or did anybody else think that was a mugwump walking past? No, I'm 99% sure it was like a Rhodian or something, but it just looked like a mugwump walking past when was it when I'm gonna get it wrong, so I'm just gonna say Wim's dad. He's determined to get a message out, which just shows where there's a Wim, there's a way. And yeah, Neil's mother comes out with, the massive, impossible to hide, the little cable there. I just wanted it to go on forever. Like she's pulling, yeah, pulling it out of her sleeve like a clown or something. Now, in order to activate it, you do have to wear this hat. Let me just put that right on your head. And I realize it says spy, do not trust across the forehead. Can't be helped. Now, it is voice activated, so here's a megaphone, and in order to activate it, you will have to, say into it, I am betraying the government. Good luck. But there's a power surge, and they do the gag, which I will admit, made me chuckle. The thing of, okay, show your other hand. Sir, please show both of your hands at the same time. Like, just, yeah. That's where Wim gets his, he's also bad at getting out of trouble. He's way too obvious at it. And, once and love the cut, I don't think we even see, we don't see him, like, show both hands at the same time. We just have the line, you have to show me both hands at the same time, and then, it falls onto the desk, and we see the droid there, obviously got it from him and went in there. And then, I want to say her name is Farah, Fern's mother, is like, okay, delete the memory of getting this, and then turn yourself off. So that's where Fern gets it. I appreciate that we're seeing the ways that the parents are influencing their kids. And, yeah, she's like, this has to go through official channels. We have to go buy the book. So that is not where Fern gets that, obviously, because they're diametrically opposite on that. Yeah, I thought there was some good stuff as they're going around the planet looking for, and let's see. Yeah, for example, I quite liked, when Jod is cornered and, like, so you're Professor Gorax. Professor Gorax. Okay, run, that's like, yeah. Is that like the, we're caught version of you are in so much trouble, mister, I'm going to use your middle name to underline, but yeah, clearly they knew that's not Gorax, just, it would have been pretty funny. I hope there's like an outtake where the guy runs after him and says, no, I believe you are who you are, I just want an autograph, but yeah, they're cornered, 33 can't do anything. Oh wait, 33 isn't even there. Anyway, no wait, yeah, doesn't he come up to get them to go help? Anyway, but yeah, and KB has the little, I have no idea what it's called in English. In Danish, the word would translate to Swedish key. Pretty sure you don't call it that in America. I guess Swedish key to y'all sounds like something, you get it? IKEA. Wrench, is that it? I feel like wrench sounds right to me. Yeah, she's got the wrench, and, one of the guards is like, yeah, you're not going to be able to do anything with that, because he's a guard. And I really appreciate, KB getting to save the day there, because, yeah, she is not, the most violent, and even if she were with that, she couldn't do much. But she does think outside the box, and she is smart. She understands how things work. So, yeah, she just unscrews the pipe thing, and, yeah, it has a very strong impact. Once they're no longer, like, surrounded, there's at least one guard who just runs away, and, yeah, of course, like, because now he's outnumbered. And I really love the bit where, so they go, let's see, it's Fern and, wait, yeah, at least Fern is going to the baths, and at first you just see this massive part of, like, looks like a squid or something. Right, yeah. I can't be the only person who saw a hut and about to, well, yeah, off screen, but clearly, like, eating. And he says, like, not again. I don't think I want to know the implications of that. I'm going to move on. But I cannot be the only person who thought of holy crap. I'm going to get this title right. Spirited Away. And no, for those who are, like, snobs about this sort of thing, I'm not saying that's the very best Studio Ghibli. Anyway, but yeah, the massive thing stuffing its face, yeah. Anyway, let's see. Yes, giant squid, it's massive. At first we don't even see the face, I don't think. And when we do, it doesn't look the most human we've ever seen. It's just enough. And, the voice is booming and such. And then, once you see, no, it's just, once you hear some fun stories, because, like, yeah, I mean, all of the things I just mentioned, that's just its species, and this is not the first time Star Wars has had the very important message: do not judge a book by its cover. Judge by the cover, do you? So, yeah, the thing even helps them. It's like, oh, I know the path. Like here, to tell me some more stories sometime. That was a great little, yeah. And like, yeah, you can imagine, because like this, the alien has probably never had an experience anywhere near as exciting as what Fern is describing. And I also kind of got the vibe of like retiree, like I don't know, just something, the face, I don't know if it was like wrinkly, but there was something about it that just made it look old, and some of the voice also. So yeah, like it has the vibe of like, there's that thing about, what's that meme? If I knew grandkids would be this much fun, I would have had them first, kind of thing. Grandparents love their grandkids, not always, but a lot of the time, senior freaking citizens, a lot of them just love talking to kids in general. There's a an energy, that it's life affirming. It's like what you or I might get out of like seeing a person younger than us smile or be happy about something. They get a lot out of talking to them and hearing these things. So yeah, and 100% Fern is someone who would really get into telling a cool story like that. So yeah. Let's see. I am remembering that right? It was Fern telling this. Holy crap! My memory is completely shot these days. Anyway, what I'm saying is the one of the four kids who was telling the story, I 100%. But yeah, now I'm starting to think. Wait, was it Neil maybe? Anyway, yeah. Right. I like how several characters in this episode are like, I don't know. I don't like it doesn't smell like you can trust Jod, and eventually Neil just goes up and like sniffs him with the elephant trunk, like, can I tell? And I think that might pretty much get us to, yeah. So some cool traps, and at one point one of the like guards like it's realize, oh, there's a trap here, I better not step on this thing, and that was also cool, like in like one of us mere mortal human pirate stories, it would probably be a trap door that let you fall down onto spikes, but here, because Star Wars, you get sucked up into spikes. That was a good twist on that. And the pirate letter really felt like, holy crap, this is the kind of thing that I read about when I was like 7 and had, that's not an insult, I'm just saying I was super into pirates back then. This really, yeah, really love how piratey this is. This feels like something, if at 7, if I had watched Star Wars back then and read about pirates, this is the show that would have, yeah, I would have thought up. And I love that. Anyway, the what was the thing? Yeah, so, the guard is trying to be careful not to, but, there's a shot fired. He does end up in the trap. And then it cuts to the African-American pirate holding his blaster. Someone fired a shot. Did he do that? And yeah, the acid was also quite intense. I appreciate them pointing out you can't actually necessarily see acid. I studied briefly, did not complete it, but I did study briefly to become a lab assistant, I guess is the English term. And yeah, like, you cannot tell from looking at a liquid whether or not it's acidic or otherwise dangerous. That's something, I don't love that acid is so frequently colored in fiction, because I think some people might think, if they see something and, it might be acid, but it's not colored, well, it must not be acid. No. Coloring is added to help it, in part to make it easier to distinguish very quickly visually, and also because some of the chemical reactions or visual color will change when, I'm getting way too into the weeds here. it was a fun education, if at all it's something you think might be interesting, it was fascinating. Anyway, yeah, let's see, right, the thing about, oh, you have to sacrifice that which matters most, and like, oh, your life, no, and there we get the title. You have a lot to learn about pirates, and yeah, it was treasure, and it's like, okay, does anybody have any, you know, gold-plated latinum left? And oh, this, and he tosses it, and nothing happens. Like, well, they don't now, thanks. But yeah, I appreciate, I think they played it exactly right, because just enough time passes that you end up thinking, I guess that really wasn't it. They have to find some other way in there, but not so long that we're like checking our watch, like, oh, come on, move on, just, let's see. And the skull in the acid was also a nice touch. Yeah, pitch perfect layer, 10 out of 10, no notes. And, they enter and it's like, okay, don't touch anything. One of you keep a close eye on Abu. And let's see, right, I also appreciate how much Jod, like, geeks out when he hears that it's Lenaud, which, yeah, that helps foreshadow, no, he really is still a pirate, it's not behind him. Like, they don't push it too far early on. Like, you could, the early stuff, you could say, oh, well, he's a history buff. It's like, I mean, you can be fascinated by someone without admiring them. And let's see, yeah, they get into let's see, and they find, yeah, very clever about, I like how Neil's the one who notices the food thing. That's, yeah. And, he almost falls through the trapdoor, which I also appreciate. It's, nice bit of setup for later. And, yeah, he points out the roast looks like it came right out the oven. And, yeah, they find the thing, and let's see. Is there anything to the fact that we don't see the guy's face? I guess there could be, but it might also not. Could it be that, like, Jod and he were like twins or something, maybe? I don't really know why they would. Because we know that Tenod is dead. I'm pretty sure. I feel like there's no, because he died on the ship when it crashed. Well, he died right before it crashed, rather. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, could it be the guy who did the statue that didn't have a head on the other planet? Anyway, moving on. Let's see. Yeah, and the thing about, what's a concubine? I'll tell you when you're older. And let's see, right, Onyx Cinder is also a great name. It's Star Warsy, and also, we know what Cinder is, so that's nice, evocative, yeah. And let's see. Should it have been Cinder with a Z, so that so they fit in X, Y, and Z? Anyway. I know. Just briefly, I do want to acknowledge, I realize that there are a lot of Americans who really don't like when you say Z instead of Z. I do want to make clear that is not the only reason I do it. Now, let's see, what was the other thing? Yeah, so yeah, once he has control of the machine, he's like, okay, so flood the chamber with acid. Like, okay, I know they were trying to kill you, but that still seems really intense. That's like, yeah, that's worse than putting them in the garbage. Holy crap, I can't believe I'm blanking on the, yeah, JJ. But yeah, let's see, what's the other thing with that? Then we have the... Cannot believe I'm blanking on the... Yeah, let's see, we have the... Oh, right, just so I don't remember. I don't really have anything to add to it, but there's some cool MTV trivia for this episode. Yeah, the... You know, he... Yeah, the thing about, you know, once he finds out, you know, it's mint. What's mint? It's a real lifesaver. What can I tell you? And the... Yeah, you know, that's how it's the planet of eternal treasure, which, you know, when you heard it earlier, I'm pretty sure this is not the first time we hear it. It was like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a pirate legend, really, you know. And I hope there is an outtake where, you know, Jod asks, what is the treasure? And the answer is just the friends we made along the way. And yeah, we have the, yeah, you know, he takes a little bit too long to turn around. You know, Fern is trying to get him to reaffirm that it's not just about the treasure for him. You know, we had a deal, this whole thing, and yeah, you know, he challenges her, and it is this thing of like, yeah, technically, you know, again, like in the episode before this one, if you as a child want to be seen as an adult, sometimes, you know, there might be consequences to that. There might be things that you really don't want, where you don't want to be viewed as an adult. And right, the knife was also nicely foreshadowed. You know, early on he has to give it up. You know, this little thing is like, you know, I feel like that knife is like most of two-thirds of the way there to get like Crocodile Dundee to do a spit take. You know, so. And, you know, he takes it back, puts it, you know, holsters it, and not long after, yeah, in a holster, not a knife belt. And, yeah, you know, I do appreciate the pause between him saying he wants to challenge Fern before he says, just yield, you know, because, like, he's not, if he doesn't have to, he's not going to kill this child, you know, and obviously there's literally no other way that like there's no way she would be able to, you know, get him to yield. And let's see, I think that might be just about, yeah, good bit with the lightsaber. I feel like I've seen that somewhere online a while, but you know, like years ago, someone pointed out, you know, there should be at least one scene where the first time someone tries a lightsaber, they accidentally hold it upside down. You know, it's one of those things. You got to see it at least once. You know, it's almost too obvious because yeah, like the first time you hold one of those things, how do you know you're holding it right? You know. And they played just right because, yeah, for a second there, it looked like he might be able to, because like I didn't think that they were actually going to kill off one of the leads. You know, there's 3 episodes left. I'm not sure that I think any of them are going to, any of the 4 kids are going to die by the end of the, you know, it's 12 plus, it's not 16 plus. But yeah, you know, the fact that, yeah, and you know, he tells 33, you know, imprison them in prison. And you know, yeah, it's like, okay, well, there's at least a chance that this, you know, trapdoor might save us, you know, so, and it's one of those things, like, yeah, if a, you know, like, Jod doesn't at first think, I don't want them that close to each other, because he's thinking, well, this makes them easier to control, but it's also, it's the key ring thing, you know, yeah, it means you have everything in one place, but it also means you can lose all of it all at once. I think, right, I appreciate the tender moment where, you know, Wim is comforted by Jod, although Jod isn't too keen on it from right away. And yeah, let's see. I think that might cover everything. So yeah, by the end of this episode, you know, let's see, the werewolf pirate leader is still out there, so is Jocket. And I guess it's possible that the people working at the hotel have gathered some security that might pose a threat. But, you know, Jod also now has the lightsaber, and I'm pretty sure he got the coordinates by the end of this episode. Yeah. So basically, right, and actually, can the kids fly the ship without 33? I'm not entirely sure they can. So, yeah, genuinely really excited to see what happens next. I appreciate when you can't 100% guess exactly how it's going to go. Yeah, I think that covers the entire episode. This was also not a very Christmassy episode. Now I don't feel quite as bad about not doing it yesterday. I'm not even sure it hit that it premiered around here. Like, I think the last time I checked last night was like 10 in the evening or something, and it still wasn't up. So, you know, yeah, just decided to do it early today. Although I don't know with the time difference. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I guess Disney just didn't really want, or maybe they just didn't want it to be one of the main shows like this, where they did a Christmassy thing. Because What If also didn't. Even though the MCU did the last 2 years in a row a Christmas thing on Christmas Eve. Anyway, yeah, really, really excited to see how it's all going to end.